Toastmasters and honored guests. This is a speech that I'll be using parts of it in a Hope podcast, so it's addressed to families with schizophrenia. You and your family living with schizophrenia may often be confused, frightened, or just wondering what to do about it. So in response to that, this podcast, Hope on the Other Side of the Door, is for you. It will help you with tips, suggestions, time, and attention so that you and your family can live safe, healthy, and meaningful lives. Today I want to talk about communication and communication styles. As a bit of background, it's important to realize that the person living with schizophrenia, your loved one, it could be your 20-year-old son or daughter, it could be a 45, 50-year-old mother, and you're the young adult living with them. Or it could be a relative, cousin. They will have difficulties or neurological, neurochemical, brain issues related to how they process information and how they see the world around them, how they react to the world around them, and how they're able to communicate. So this is important to realize that a lot of times people think that communication is a two-way street. In fact, that's really not true. You, as the healthy person in this family, will have much more of the responsibility for communicating and understanding your loved one with schizophrenia than they will be able to muster up themselves. So be gentle with them, be gentle with yourself, be patient. A lot of times we ignore maybe 90% or more of our sensory inputs from seeing, hearing, taste, touch, smell. That's so that we can concentrate and pay attention to what's happening right in front of us, like driving the car, as our Toastmaster mentioned earlier, and use critical thinking in those processes. So we ignore 90%, like the feel of the chair or on my back, the sound of the air conditioner, I ignore that. A car outside in the street, we ignore those things, and so that we can pay attention to the conversation. So your loved one with schizophrenia who's living with that disorder, that psychiatric disorder, may not be able to pay attention to because, guess what? They have difficulty with this filtering out process. And a lot of times they can't tell the difference between what's more important, you talking to them and looking at them, or the car outside, or the dog barking, or the feel of the chair on their back. They just are unable to prioritize their sensory input many times. And the condition of schizophrenia and its symptoms, they kind of wax and wane as you're going through the day. So the tip here and the important thing to realize that in your family, my goal here is for you to be able to strengthen the bonds within your family, and that means developing rapport and understanding. So again, way more than half of the two-way street of communication will rest on your shoulders as the healthy, well person. And there's a cute story from childhood, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. This young girl, Goldilocks, gets into this bear's house out in the forest. The bears are away, empty house. She runs around in their house testing this and that and gets to the porridge on the table. One is too hot, one is too cold, one is just right. So what I'd like to propose is that you become aware of your styles of communicating with your loved one who has schizophrenia. And if you're angry or sarcastic, they're acting distracted, they're talking funny, they're making up words, you can say something like, "I thought you knew English better than that. Don't you understand what I'm saying?" And be really angry, too hot. We want to just take notice of that, do an inventory, and check up on yourself. Too cold, you're lecturing down to them, and you're being, like a dictator or a teacher or a professor. That's not good. The rapport building understanding is in the middle, where you might repeat their words so that they can tell you heard them, and maybe empathize. Wow, if that was going on for me, if they say something, voices are tormenting them, that'd be pretty scary. I would really be afraid of that. And you can build a bridge of understanding without directly trying to attack their false words, the hallucinations, or say, "That's just in your head." Don't do that. that pushes them away. So act like you believe them, because they really are having that experience of those voices in their head, the hallucinations, and just empathize with the emotional feeling they may have. So today I've had a chance to mention a couple of words about communication, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, different styles of communication, And I hope that together we can build safe, healthy families for you and the future. Thank you, and back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.